here, this is called Death of the Service User. I was munching a bacon sunny, flicking through the mail. I was trying to look busy and fearing that I'd fail, when I came upon this letter, which solemnly did say, the above-named service user sadly passed away. Well, he always thanked the driver, paid his bills when they were due, and he never groaned or grumbled, sadly, unlike me and you. And though no one really liked him, they knew because they'd checked that he was a service user and worthy of respect. With his model car collection and the runs he used to score, and the bullet wound he suffered serving in some foreign war, and the notes on his prescription and his donor cards attached, that he was a service user and now he lies at rest. So it's down with the service user to the inanity of the grave, with his courtesies forgotten, though his date has all been saved. But be careful with that pine box and tend his graveside yet. He was a service user and worthy of respect. So it's down with the service user to the inanity of the grave, with his courtesies forgotten, though his date has all been saved. But be careful with that pine box and tend his graveside yet. He was a service user and worthy of respect. I'm sure most of you know, but for those of you that don't, I've got 16 more songs, even more downbeat and lachrymose than that one. They're all on a CD, and there are 5 each if anyone's interested. Let me know in the interlude. Bit of a story behind that one, actually. 9 or 10 years ago, as a callow youth of 26 or whatever I was, I started working at a housing office, and I had to write a letter to this guy about the state of his garden. And 2-3 days after I wrote it, he came into the office to speak to me, and he was oldish, but kind of very big and quite shouty and scary as well. And among other things, he threatened to murder me in quite colourful language. And a bit sad actually. I later found out he'd been in the Falklands and he got PTSD. And he was an alcoholic and all the rest of it. A couple of years later, he sadly died. And I wrote that for him, so for Mr. Lear, wherever he is. This is brand new. It's called Most People Quite Like Themselves. Enough of all your reasoning, let the people have their say. The peasants were revolting, the revolting won the day. A red-faced statistician noted, when she'd looked at those who'd voted, most people quite like themselves. They like people quite like themselves. And if you're awkward, if you're strange, you might just live and die alone. It might drive you deranged, because most people quite like themselves. Enough of all this argument, it's time to go to war. Since we both know we're in the right, I'll spare your blood no more. A military historian said, when he'd recorded all the dead, most people quite like themselves. They like people quite like themselves. And if you're awkward, if you're strange, you might just live and die alone. It might drive you deranged, because most people quite like themselves. It's true the world's revolving, surely night must follow day. And maybe man's evolving, but the devil knows which way. For every cause and every ism, shedding blood and making schism. Most people quite like themselves. They like people quite like themselves. And if you're awkward, if you're strange, you might just live and die alone. It might drive you deranged, because most people quite like themselves. Most people quite like themselves. They like people quite like themselves. And if you're awkward, if you're strange, you might just be the last great hope on which our planet's future hinges.
Right.